the WoodMaxx wood chipper, model 8M, or model WM-8M, manual feed. I didn't need the hydraulic feed, just another thing to go wrong as far as I'm concerned. It'll do 58 feet per minute. It's self-feeding. Price at their website is $2,239 with free shipping. Please see website for more information. Comes 90% assembled, 3-year warranty. It'll take logs up to 8 inches. The flywheel on this weighs 200 pounds and the entire unit weighs 950 pounds. That's enough advertising. The chute is adjustable for the discharge. So let's go and take a closer look. It's got a nice big entrance to it. No, I haven't cleaned it since I videotaped. There's the cog that grabs the wood and pulls it on in. The roller underneath. Pretty impressive unit. I'm not going to give you any information on assembling it because they have a video online that explains everything you know to assemble this. Assembly really didn't take very long, and I know, went pretty good. One of the reasons I bought this is my neighbor was looking at a DR PTO driven chipper for $2,599. Well, I looked into that. The flywheel on that one weighs 55 pounds. The one on the WoodMaxx weighs 200 pounds. You get that flywheel moving and not much going to stop it. 55 pounds? I don't know. The DR will only handle a max 4.5 inch. And the exhaust extended discharge chute is optional on that, and it's not self-feed. You got to pick the logs up and stick them down in it, and it'll gravity feed. No thank you. So that's all I got for now. Let's go see it in action. Oh, I'm powering this with a 52 horsepower Kubota tractor, my favorite. So let's go see it in action. So what's good about this machine? Well, you can't beat the price, at least I couldn't. Free shipping, it's heavy. If it's heavy, there's something there. It's not going to fall apart. Well, we'll get to that. It's taken everything I've thrown at it. I've thrown in pieces at least 6.5 inches in diameter, but usually that's not going to happen with me because I keep all that stuff and cut it for firewood. Support. I called service and spoke to a gentleman named Will. He was fantastic, very knowledgeable, and I just felt great after talking to him. Am I glad I bought this? Yes, yes I am. Would I recommend it to someone else? Yes, yes I would. It also comes with this adjustable stiff leg, which is for use when it's not attached to your tractor. And we were discussing on whether or not that was needed. When this is sitting on the floor of your barn, shop, whatever, if you lean on the intake of this, where the logs go in, you're going to find that that's going to tip over real easy.
Oh no!
I had originally sent a copy of my video to WoodMaxx for their review and any comments they had. And they didn't like my comments in the bad part about parts coming loose and things like that. And they brought to my attention the above notice on page 8 of the manual that says, please check to make sure all nuts and bolts on the machine are tightened after you complete assembly and before machine is first used. I took that as meaning all the parts I had assembled. Well, all my parts were tight. What they mean is, this is per WoodMaxx, they say they do this for 2 reasons. They want you to take the machine apart and check every nut and bolt on it, except for the flywheel and knives that they did. And 2 reasons. 1, so that the user can familiarize themselves with all the hardware on the machine. And 2, so that the user is comfortable that everything is good to go for peace of mind while running a machine such as this. I've checked their video, their assembly video online, and it says the new assembly video. Well, it says nothing about taking everything apart and checking all the nuts and bolts. If you don't take the machine apart and check every nut and bolt tight, this is what happens. I don't even have 5 hours on it, and I spent 2.5 hours this morning fixing stuff before I could even make the video. One of the problems was, and get right down to it, bearing housing here. There are 2 Allen screws around the outside that hold that shaft inside this bearing. Well, and there's also a grease fitting here. When I went to grease it this morning, there was no grease fitting, so it had evidently fallen out. And this shaft, which is should be right lined up here at the end, flush, or thereabouts, wasn't even there. It was almost a 1/2 inch in. This whole section here had slid out, letting the shaft and the drive wheel slide on in. So after some minor semi-major repairs of getting that shaft back over and locked in here, I went around and checked the Allen set screws on all the shafts, and all of them were loose. Now the first maintenance due on this is at approximately 10 hours per the manual. Another problem I had was I was chipping with a neighbor the other day after he dropped a tree. We were running all the brush through this and all the chippings into a trailer, and I just happened to notice this nut right here was laying right down here, and the washer and everything was off, and it was just about ready to go right into the chipper. Now on all the other nuts and stuff that you as the owner apply, they all have nylock nuts on them. This one and the one on the other side here do not have nylocks on them. So I ended up taking it off and well, I did a field repair to put it back together. Then after I got back up to the barn, put Loctite on that. But that wouldn't have been too good going on in there and running through the wood chipper. That would be a serious improvement. Another thing is they didn't, they were short. Well, they weren't short. They had the right number of nylock nuts in the package for this, but the problem was one of the nuts was no good. So I ended up having to put a 3/8 bolt in and double nut it. Another problem here is on this support. Right down here. It attaches from the bed to the main unit. You'll see there's all sorts of wood chips here. And somebody asked me, why do I have that duct tape on there? Well, the duct tape's there because when they welded this up, they didn't weld across the top here. That's right underneath the drive roller, and all your chips come down, and this just fills up with garbage. It's welded on the two sides and the bottom, but not the top. So all that debris is going to get in there, going to get any moisture, water in there, and that's going to rust and fall apart. I'm going to put a bead of caulk across mine. That'll fix it.